Call to order this regular meeting of the Page County School Board.
Mr. Overfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Alger.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes. On this day, we join communities across our nation in remembering the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. Patriot Day is a time to honor the nearly 3,000 lives lost, to recognize the bravery of first responders, and to reflect on the resilience and unity that carried our country forward. As a school division and as a community, we reaffirm our commitment to teaching future generations the importance of courage, service, and compassion. At this time, I invite everyone to join us in a moment of silence in remembrance. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Huber, do you have any agenda changes or additions?
I do not.
A motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Alger and a second by Mr. Overfelt to approve the agenda.
Ms. Alger.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Mr. Overfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam Chairman, I would like to certify that all personal matters discussed in closed session were in reference to section 2.273, 3711A1.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Sullivan Smoot and a second by Ms. Alger to certify personnel matters discussed in closed session.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Mr. Overfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Alger.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Yes. Only citizen comment is online. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Overfelt and a second by Ms. Bryant to approve the consent agenda.
Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
Mr. Overfeld.
Yes.
Ms. Alger.
Yes.
Mr. Painter.
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan Smith.
Yes.
Yes. Page Valley Fair crops and livestock winners.
Absolutely. So welcome, everyone. We are always excited to have a packed house for recognitions of our amazing students and support of their families. Ms. Clark is going to assist me, and hopefully we get some pictures as well. We're going to get them out there. Okay. You just keep me straight, Ms. Clark. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to start off with Lindsay Babb. Lindsay was the grand champion doe. Congratulations. And then Paisley Hilliard, grand champion goat. Nope. Okay. Very good. I know there were practices or work or other obligations.
Lindsay
so-
actually has a varsity volleyball game she needs to hit.
Oh, a
back
game.
for,
Okay,
so-
get out of here. Good luck.
Clark.
All right. So then we're going to go to Luray Elementary School. And we're going to start with Dallas Atwood, goat novice showmanship, first place. Next up from Luray Elementary, we have Eva Foltz. Eva won 3 different competitions: the sweepstakes field crops, vegetables, and fruits, the beef novice showmanship, first place, and hogs novice showmanship, first place. Wow. Congratulations. Next up is Luray High School. Reagan Dean. Just for the record, Reagan won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 awards. So congratulations, Reagan. We're sorry you're not here. Next up from Luray High is Kelly Graham. Okay. Kelly won in 2 different categories. Congratulations, Kelly. Also from Luray High, Mackenzie McDaniel. Mackenzie was Best of Show Canning Senior Division. Great job, Mackenzie. From Luray High again, Elizabeth Summers. Gotta wait there, Elizabeth. I've got a lot of awards to announce here. All right, so Beef Intermediate Showmanship, first place. Grand Champion Heifer. Sheep Intermediate Showmanship, first place. Reserve Grand Champion Doe. Congratulations. Olivia Summers. Okay. Emma Wood. All right. Rachel Brubaker from Luray Middle. Rachel's going to be making our next desserts. She was Best of Show Baking and Foods Junior Division. Great job. Isaiah Brubaker. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Lelia Foltz. Did I mess it up? Lelia. Sorry. Lelia, I apologize for that. Congratulations. Beef Junior Showmanship, first place. Great job. Emily Summers. All right, Emily. Goat Junior Showmanship, first place. Weston Knight. All right, Weston. Weston had 3 different categories. Hogs Junior Showmanship, first place. Reserve Grand Champion Market Hog. And Grand Champion Gilt. Did I say that right? Okay, awesome. I want a belt like you have. Okay. All right. Lauren Wright. So Lauren won in 4 categories. Hogs Intermediate Showmanship, first place. Reserve Grand Champion Gilt. Goat Intermediate Showmanship, first place. Reserve Grand Champion Goat. Great job. Before you all leave, I want to congratulate all of our students. That's an impressive list of awards, and I know how much work goes into that, so thank you all. And then parents and families. I know you're right alongside them the whole way, helping them and supporting them. So thank you all. And you all being here means a lot to us as a school division, as a board, and as a community, and we wanted to celebrate all of the great work that you all put in, and it shows, obviously. So great job, everybody. I hope you have a great evening. Miss Clark will get pictures outside or in.
I'll go take them.
Okay, by the oars?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. You're welcome.
And just so you all know, a lot of these kids are going to State Fair and representing Page County there.
Yeah.
Phenomenal with the awards and beat these kids across the state, and I expect it again this year.
Great point.
Why not Paige?
That's right.
That was a great.
Yeah.
That's proud.
That's what I really wanted to
Yeah,
say.
that's
All year long.
His name was Dickerson. He taught English at high school.
Proud of
I worked with him. I haven't seen him in 10 years.
Right.
got to lay down on the side. It must be. He and his wife were both taught at the high school for years and years and years.
And they spend so much.
All right. Whew. That is a lot of hard work. Just left the room. All right, so on to our informational items. Our minutes from August are posted for review. Ms. Miller, you have an update for monthly financials?
I do. Thank you, board. You have been provided with the monthly financial report for August, where the operating fund expenditures and revenues totaled $3,832,397.63. Forgot to grab the mic. And then along with that, you have been provided with the local match calculation, and we did balance that with the treasurer's office. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Ms. Hamill, instructional update?
Good evening, Chair Gordon, Dr. Huber, members of the board. I am here to do a fall instructional update. It'll be a little different perhaps than what we would see ordinarily this time of year because we'd ordinarily be focusing on the school performance and support framework. But the changes to that model mean we don't have all the information to know where our schools landed based on spring data. So we're going to talk through a few things that we're focused on. Oh, clicker. Thank you. Maybe. This operator error light. Oh, there it is. So we'll talk a little bit about formative assessments, continuous school improvement plans, and then professional development that we've done and will be doing. So formative versus summative assessments. Fall is a time for formative, right? And formative assessments are the assessments we use to get a baseline on students and gauge where they fall, whether it's in literacy, in math, in social skills, things like that. This is the data that we use to drive instruction and help us to personalize things. It allows for us to tier out. If you're familiar with the multi-tiered systems of support, it allows us to tier out for small groups, for just understanding the kids we have in front of us and how we can best promote their success. So some of the examples of those, VALS testing, which is the Virginia Language and Literacy Screening System, and that identifies risk bands for literacy. We deliver that to all K-2 students. You may have remember me saying that from the VLA update I provided a few weeks back. And then select 4th through 8th grade students. Those are students who were not successful on their spring SOL scores and or have what we would classify as a legitimate decoding deficit that we need to tackle. So those students have student reading plans and we get in-depth data or more in-depth data through the VAL system there. We also give through K-8 the IXL math diagnostic, and that helps us with math instruction, where kids falling on number sense, numeracy, their computation skills, things like that. And then we will soon be delivering the VKRP, which is the Virginia Kindergarten Readiness Program, and that measures early literacy skills, early numeracy skills, and then also there's a rating that teachers do for behavior and social emotional skills. So that gives just good holistic data on kiddos in pre-K and K. And then at the end of the first marking period, we'll do our CIP benchmarks in grades 2 through 12. And that's basically assessing how are we doing as of the end of that marking period. That's part of the work we do with the comprehensive instructional program that we're a part of as a division. Those are, of course, fully aligned with SOLs, so that's helpful as we're gauging student progress towards the end game in the spring for assessments. Continuous school improvement plans are something else that we're focusing on this time of year, asking buildings to reflect and look at what their goals are moving forward. And what we've done this year under the leadership of Dr. Aldifer is combined the school improvement plans with the Title I plans. So instead of working on 4 sets of goals, they're sort of uniting those things, and we're trying to ease understanding. If we want people to focus, let's give them something to zoom in on instead of having to be here and here. So elementary schools are doing that. Can you go back one more? So the model with the CSIP is it's not just something that a principal creates. It should be a collaborative process through the building. Team leads, everyone should be aware of it because it is a group effort. And there's 2 goals on those plans that we're asking them to focus on. The first is a teaching and learning goal, so that's the academic focus piece. The second is more of a school environment goal. The culture, sometimes discipline, sometimes school attendance. We're all very focused on that, of course. And the academic piece is often rooted in core content or SOL improvement. Those are due in to Dr. Aldifer, and Mr. Hopkins will help with the Title I review piece for elementaries. Those are due in September 30th. And then following that, we get into the progress monitoring. And as Dr. Huber started last year, we'll be meeting with schools. The division instructional team goes to the building and meeting with schools who are in improvement. And because we don't have full data yet, we're not exactly sure who those are. We have some good information to hypothesize, but we're waiting for final results. So we'll meet monthly with schools who need a little more support and guidance, and then bi-monthly with those who are not at improvement. And we met as an instructional team and really focused on, okay, how can we focus these meetings? What are the data we're going to ask them to bring? And that's different level to level. So you can see some of the examples, the diagnostic info, VALS info, benchmark data, making sure we're reflecting on the previous year's SOLs and what we can learn about kids from their performance there. And then, of course, attendance data as well. So that's broken out by level because it does vary. High school, we're talking a lot about how can we count or quantify the touches we're getting for kids who they may be the first generation to have potential to go to college. How are we touching those kids and supporting any and all efforts to help them make a plan for post-graduation? So PD, in August, we had some heavy focus areas, and then we have another professional development day coming up in September. So in August, various members of our instructional and technology teams presented on the multi-tiered systems of support. That one was at our leadership retreat and focused on the academic piece. That's kind of a holistic tiered system where there's academics, but there's also the social, emotional, and behavior and how to support kids. But we focus on academics at the leadership retreat. Of course, literacy and the Virginia Literacy Act and our work with the Virginia Literacy Partnership. They came in and presented to teachers K-8 in 4 different sessions across the day. Our new curriculum, KIDM, was here and presented to elementary. Math Space presented to help familiarize our secondary folks with the new curriculum that they're leveraging this year. Instructional technology resources presented. You'll hear more about Magic School from them later in our meeting, but that was a heavy focus for them during the August day. AI guardrails, everyone in the division has to have that. I suspect you'll hear more about that later on as well. We did threat assessment training. We also specially designed instruction that was specific to Page County Middle School through their school improvement grant. They dug in and did some work that was ongoing from previous work they had done. And spent a day with designated staff learning about specially designed instruction to promote instructional improvement. And then, of course, we're working hard to support our new teachers and pairing them with mentors, meeting with the new teachers themselves and their mentors, and just adding tools in those toolboxes for those folks so that they can be as successful as possible. On the 26th, coming up the end of this month, we've got a day, and there's some sessions throughout the day for various populations across the division. So LES will spend the day digging in on explicit instruction and cooperative learning. That's funded through their school improvement grant through a company called Kagan. MANT training will be provided to representatives from every building, and that's a program rooted in sort of communication and de-escalation and behavior management, and then if it gets there, the crisis cycle of emotion and as kids progress up, and just teaching about that and how to manage it. Naviance training is being added. That's happened a little bit already, but this is for career planning on one prong of it, and the other prong is there's some SEL learning that's part of Naviance. reading across content areas, we have a partnership with a company called Newzella that has some great resources for teachers where they can personalize reading for students based on where those students fall in their levels. And then ITRTs are going to do some rotations. Ed Puzzle, which is an important addition to the division where it helps us meet some requirements as far as blocking ads, protecting student privacy, allowing teachers some easy tools to use video clips intentionally by, it will help create questions and things like that through that. CAMI, which is something that the division has access to. And we just want to provide a refresher and make sure that we're leveraging the resources that we have. And Brain Pop is another example of that. It's something that the division has had, and we just want to make sure our new folks know about it. It's something they have access to, so let's make sure they're taking advantage and getting the most out of it. And our instructional technology staff is presenting on those. And then we have another round of new teacher mentor meetings that day as well. Dr. Aldifer is presenting to the mentors, and I'll be presenting a condensed version of the MTSS presentation we did this summer to the new teachers, just to start building that vocabulary and language around the multi-tiered system. So we have a resource library that's new this year. As we edited the teacher resource website, we thought, you know what, oftentimes what happens with the pace of things in education is we deliver professional development, but there's not always resources for people to circle back around to, and it can get brushed to the side in the pace of that we have to operate in once our building is filled with students. So we basically created a subsection of that website where presentations that teachers have been a part of, been exposed to, are linked in it so they can refer back if they had a question or, you know, think I saw something, but I can't remember quite what it is. So we've created a resource library for them. It's not all inclusive because some of the presentations didn't have media or something involved, but it's a good sampling of what we did. And we'll add to it after the September day as well. So that's our update, sort of quick for fall. Welcome any questions that you have.
Well, it sounds like September 26th, big day. Man training, who does, how's it determine what position is that?
So this round, and Ms. Hilliard can chime in, this round, an administrator from every building will be trained. And do you have other support staff as well?
And we're going to follow up with other staff, but I wanted to see it current.
Do they need both administrators?
One administrator at this
One administrator.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Magic School update, technology team?
Good evening, Dr. Huber and board members. The stars of the show are behind me, but I just wanted to start off and say a quick word. I'm really excited about the Magic School rollout that we've been doing this year. We are in the phase now where we have rolled it out to students and they are using it in the classroom. We did a lot of preparation over the last year and a half. Dr. Huber and I kind of kicked off that whole thing back in winter of last school year, doing our guidelines with the team that we put together. Just really excited about it. So I hope that you all are supportive of this, and I'm going to stop talking and let the stars of the show take over.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Brumfield. I'm the ITRT for Page Middle and Page High, but we really don't stay at our schools. We go wherever we're needed.
Kristen Vaughn, I'm primarily at Ray Middle, Ray High, and Tech Center. But
I'm Tracy Shiflett. I am the primary for all four.
So we started this with a committee, with the VAST committee that we started with Dr. Fox last year that Dr. Huber and Mr. Runyon was a part of. And so it's really blossomed to what's been really awesome as a tool. We rolled it out to teachers last year, and we started at the end of the year with the select teachers that are part of our committee to use it in their classroom, and we got rave reviews. So we've continued to move forward. Magic School is a powerful education platform designed specifically for teachers and students. And so it's not the wild, wild west. We have boundaries. It says here you get to use this tool. It's not you get to use it for whatever you want to. So it's carefully curated and it aligns perfectly with each classroom learning goals. You can put your SOLs into it and get specific things for like quizzes and stuff like that. When we log into it, we got a couple options on the side. There's over 80 tools for teachers now, just for teachers that they can pick, whether it's leveling text or video questions or a bunch of really awesome cool things like Tutor Me or Quiz Me or those types of things. So it's stuff that's already built that they can use. The rated chatbot acts like any other AI that you might have been in touch with, whether it be ChatGPT or Claude or any of those. And so that's one where teachers, they might not know where they need to go, but they can use that and it's controlled on ours, so none of the data or stuff that we put in there goes out to the web for anybody else to use the same data. Magic Student is where you make rooms for the student to use, and I think 51 tools right now. Tracy's going to hit those, but there's tools that they can use, and they're specially curated for whatever you're doing that day. You can pause them, you can lock them, you can delete them, you can kick kids out. It's really good stuff. Magic School Labs isn't as exciting as I wanted it to be as a science teacher, as a recovering science teacher. It's not science labs. It's the beta testing. So all of the stuff that's beta testing, so you can sign up to be a beta tester for the new things that are coming out. And my organization is where us three, Blake and probably a couple others, have admin access, so we can see all of the rooms that are open to kids and teachers. And if, something got left open or something, so we can go and we can control that on the admin.
So, starting last January, we started training the teachers directly. And we started off talking about guardrails. So the guardrails training was the first training. We offered it several times during the year last year, and then we did it again in August for everybody who was new and anybody who didn't get it yet. But basically, with the guardrails, we're talking about don't put personally identifiable information into any form of AI anytime at all. And we got them to all make sure they could even chant to us. If it's in Power School, it doesn't go in Magic School. We gave them stickers that said that so they could definitely remember. But we were really clear, like really don't put the students' information in here. You can put vague general stuff, you cannot put specifics. We don't want to be able to identify a kid from that information. So we spent a lot of time on how to be very careful. And we also showed them how to make it useful and helpful, but we only unlocked teacher tools at that point. And only teachers who attended the training were allowed to have access. Just, how do you make sure people come to training? Well, if you don't come, you don't get it. Then this year in August, we started rolling out the next steps. Next steps is the opening up of student tools. And the thing about the student tools is that they're just very curated. Actually, if you can go ahead and give me the next slide. With them, you have tailored to the class. So the teacher decides, these are the tools I'm going to give my students. These are how they're going to work. So for example, if they want to give a chatbot about Susan B. Anthony, they can have the chatbot be only about the Susan B. Anthony information. And they can pull the information from the SOL that we want the kids to know and put that in and say, this is the stuff they need to know. So it's very curated, very specific, and it's only open as long as the teacher allows it to be open. In fact, it gives a lot of feedback on what's going on in the classroom so the teacher can see what's going on. So the teacher has full control. They can customize those tools. They can turn them on. They can turn them off. It is safe and structured. So students are only allowed to access what the teacher gives them access to. And we have told them your tools are only on when the kids are in front of you. If the kids have left your room, you turn it off and you only have it for the kids who are sitting in front of you. And that's where our admin comes in to be able to check on that. But we're working on it. The platform itself promises that it will not use our information to train AI. It is not sending our information out. We own our information that's in Magic School, which is different from if you go onto ChatGPT or Claude or whoever else. So we own our information. They promise that if we accidentally put personal information in there, they're going to take it back out. That's a pretty big deal. We're still training our teachers, don't do it. But it's nice to have the backup that if they do make a mistake, they're still covered. So we're safe, we're protected. They did win some top privacy ratings, which we put there on our slide. And the fact that we own our data matters to us. It's important.
I think.
Yay! Okay. This was us using it in class last year, and I really didn't need to blur faces because not a single kid was looking at me while they were taking these pictures because they were just locked in. So this was one of our trainings at Lorraine High School. The one we had for the first next steps, it was in the cafeteria on the back to school day was 200 people. It got warm, guys, I'm telling you. So like a lot of people are in there learning this, and it's very well received. We were solving environmental problems. They were debating with AI about solving the environmental problems, whether it be oil spills or pollution of rivers or air pollution and stuff. They were debating with them and going step by step on how to solve problems here. They're using maps. So this one had the 20 top cities that I had to learn in 7th grade that are in the United States, and this had the 7 regions of the United States. So I uploaded a picture of both maps into it, and it quizzed them. What I really love is that after so many, if they got like 5 right in a row, it asked them, do you want to make this harder? And without asking them if they were struggling, it took it down to very simple terms, so nobody felt like they were still getting engaged, but it was differentiating for them in each way, and the teacher had to do nothing. It was just all written. This we had training goodies. Magic School is purple. We all love purple, and then you can the Snickers. If it's in Power School, it doesn't go in Magic School. That was the whole thing. And this was in a world geography class, and everybody was really thrilled of using these. We did it on iPads first because that way we could control it on the iPad and kids would have their Chromebooks. So if they weren't logged in, they were logged in as a test student on a thing to really keep them safe because we wanted to roll it out gently and roll it out safely. So, they were really excited about it, and I was really excited to be in all of it.
So there are 51 different tools that are only available to the students if the teacher sets them up. And these tools are flat out amazing. We honestly believe that this is going to change education just as much as the internet did. Because it is just changing how you think about things. So for instance, one of the tools that you can do, and I went in and did this with 5th graders at Stanley Elementary, was they took a story and then they asked it to turn it into different genres. So they got to see the same story as a folktale. They got to see it as a tall tale. They got to see it as historical fiction, the same story. And so it changed it. And so for some of those kids, you could see light bulbs going off in their heads of, oh, so that's the difference. So there are things like that. There are also things in there that can help them if they're going to do a science project where they could, I have this kind of vague idea. What could I expand it to be? And so it actually has a tool in there that will help expand their idea for their science fair project. So there are all these different tools in here that the teachers set. There are some rooms in there that are pre-built. If teachers are new at using it, they can have us come in and we will help them. We want to go in and help them. We'd love to do that. And you guys are invited too. If you ever want to come in and see, give us an email, give us a shout, and we will invite you into one that we have scheduled, and we'd love to show you how it works. It's amazing. Go to the next slide. We wanted to show you one, but we didn't. We knew we'd get lost down a rabbit hole because it's so much fun to do this stuff. So we thought we would do screenshots. So we didn't get stuck on the rabbit hole. So one of the things about 2nd grade is those little 2nd graders have a lot of historic people to learn. And sometimes it's kind of challenging to keep their interest on all of them. So one of the things that you can do through Magic School, perfectly safe, is you can set it up for a specific individual, and you can do it one of 2 ways. You can do it where it's a mystery, they don't know who they're talking to, or you can tell them who they are and they can ask questions. So these screenshots were taken, and this is so cute to me. It doesn't matter if they can't spell, because it will assume, like it can read it, even if it's just texting language. And then it will correct it. So here it says, what did you do with peanuts? Now here's a great question. I love working with peanuts to correct the spelling. So that they see how they should have spelled it. It comes back with that. And then it keeps going. This particular model, they have 2 choices, and the children pick, I want A or I want B. Or the children can ask open-ended questions depending on their age level. You can adjust the level of speak back and forth based on the grade level. It can also do it in other languages. So if we have ESL students that are in classrooms that are struggling, we can set them in this and it will speak to them in their home language. So wonderful, wonderful thing for it to do. The other thing that is absolutely amazing about this, we all know kids can sometimes get a little sassy. Magic School is beautiful on redirecting. It will come back and say, I understand that you're bored. Would you like to talk about something a little different? And then they say what they want to talk about, and then it will relate it to whatever it is they're supposed to be doing. In fact, there is one tool called Make It Relevant. You can give them any subject at all, and it will relate whatever it is their hobbies are into that. So for instance, to test it out, I checked quadratic equation with hunting and fishing. And it came back and it told me about learning how to use the angles to get the right shot and how to cast your pole and land it in the exact right spot for the bait. So it's a beautiful tool. So that's Magic School. This is where we are. We're rolling it out with teachers. If they have not attended our guardrails training, they still cannot use it, but most of our teachers have attended at this point. There are a few stragglers that have scheduled with us because now they want to use this. Yeah, we're down to 6. So we're working on that, and the students have already begun to use this, and the teachers are very excited about seeing how it's working.
Wow.
Questions for us?
So do the teachers set 51 tools up for every student, or do they select them? They parse them out?
So they can set up one tool at a time, or they can set up all the tools. They can set for one student, or they can set for the whole class. We have said it that we do not want them to set for all of their students at one time, because we only want them to set for the students that are actually in front of them at that moment. Because we don't want a student to be able to access their tools from their English class in their social studies class.
And then the teacher can go back and look at the program and see what the kids are doing.
100%. You can see the entire conversation, and it will flag anything inappropriate and message the teacher.
It also has a feature where it will do a summary of all the conversations, so you can just see the summary. And the summary will point about perhaps the student could use some help with this topic, or they're doing really well at this topic.
One says moderately engaged, one says highly engaged, one says minimally engaged, and it gives you like lines of where you can see.
It also has a moderator that will flag content. And to be fair, the only things that have been flagged that I've seen so far were not things that concerned me. The first time I tried it, we had the students using a book recommendation tool. And one of the kids said they liked murder mysteries, and that got flagged because they said the word murder. And that's fine, because I could look at it and say, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. But it does flag things, and then you can go as a teacher and see what's been flagged and see if you need to deal with it with the student. And you've got the record right there where you could say, how this is what you
Is this all 3 levels or just elementary?
No, all K through 12.
Pre-K through 12 teachers.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it can be made to work nicely at every level. For the littles, you can do speech. Instead of typing, you can speak to it. You can hit the microphone and speak to it. And instead of reading, it can read to you.
Awesome.
How hard is it for a second graders to
No,
sorry, you can't.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I did see the rap battle between historical
Oh my
figures.
goodness, it is fantastic.
that.
I can't wait to use that in like an astronomy class, like Galileo versus like Copernicus. I can see that getting spicy. I can see that being
Oh, that's awesome. It was very cool.
This is a great team, just so everyone.
Yeah.
The work that went into getting to this point, I can't even quantify. And they did it the right way. Took it.
I'm pretty proud of you.
He's beaming.
Well done.
All right, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Miss Clark, VSBA policy updates.
Good evening, board members. I come back again with some informational items for you this evening for policy. As you'll note, all of them this time are just us a matter of reviewing and modifying any wording clarity that we need to do, but no revisions or anything like that at this time.
And you are up again with the MOU with the sheriff's office.
Yes. Okay. So as part of code, we are required to meet with local law enforcement and develop our MOU with our SRO. So I'm bringing that forward to you this evening as an informational item. Sheriff Cubbage has already reviewed the MOU and has not made any changes at this time. So we just wanted to go through and sort of highlight what that agreement tells us about our working relationship with them. So in our mission, it is to collaborate and to prevent juvenile delinquency and maintain school safety, but also fostering positive attitudes with our students towards law enforcement and serve as educational community resources. As you know, in one of our previous a month ago now, policy updates, it was to add some information about, drug education. And so we utilize them quite a bit in that regard. So some of the duties of our SROs are to build those relationships with our staff and students and parents, to educate students on their rights and responsibilities, investigate criminal activity on school property, but following law enforcement policies, and support school administration with their emergency safety audits and event presence. SROs are appointed by the Sheriff's Department, but they do get input from the superintendent. They work during our school days, and they coordinate with school administration to get communication and coverage. And that is part of our off-duty management, where you're seeing law enforcement at games and so forth, and extracurricular activities. We are having regular meetings with our SROs and other law enforcement officials. We're doing that at least monthly with Dr. Johnson, myself, and Mr. Runyon. And they are coming in so that we can review this program, also make sure that we're improving anything. If we're seeing something going on, they're seeing something, we're taking that information in and making any adjustments we need to make. And that's actually already going on. So. What's our responsibility? We're providing the SROs with office space, security access, and training opportunities. And we collaborate with them during emergency and crisis planning. So we're bringing them into the table to talk about what our best practices and also prevention strategies. SROs do report through the Sheriff's Department, though, as their chain of command, but school principals do retain the authority over school operations and discipline and notify SROs if there is a criminal activity. They are not involved in the discipline process. SROs are to participate in our threat assessment teams, usually on the second round. We have a triage first, so that involves usually our administrators or an administrator and a counselor, and then depending on the ranking, it's going on to law enforcement with us, working side by side, and suicide risk assessments as well. And then they will help us coordinate, social services and follow protocols for emergency situations if we need to get immediate response. To be an SRO, they go through initial specialized training, and they do ongoing education in juvenile law, crisis and intervention, cultural competency, and school safety. But in the meantime, we're also supporting them by giving them participation in training we did. So when we did threat assessment training for our new administrators, we had the SRO in here as well to provide that input and working together with them as well. So in conclusion, our SRO program is a vital partnership, and we work closely with them for promoting that safe, respectful, and productive schools through law enforcement presence, but building a positive community relationship. Are there any questions about the MOU? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Huber, deed of easement, Butler Lane.
Good evening, members of the board, community, and those in the audience here. This is a relatively very straightforward, basic request that I'll be making during the action item steps of our business this evening. We have been requested to provide a deed of easement for Butler Lane. I provided this image. Please do not criticize my artistic skills. But I just wanted to try to give you a visual of what we're talking about, because I think that's helpful to give you the information you need.
You have magic AI training?
I did, yes, lots of it. And so what you're seeing here is our bus garage and maintenance facility, right? And that yellow box around, I mean, you can see the buses from above. That is the fence that currently provides our security to that area, just for frame of reference. That other box in the top right is a residence. And that is the individual requesting the deed of easement to use Butler Lane, which is the red line. Okay. And so that red line crosses about an acre of land for not just us, but 3 other property owners as well. It's not an uncommon thing to have this come up. Our school board attorney has reviewed this, has basically said this is a good neighborly thing to do to provide this. And we've talked with the attorney of the other party and ensured that we have no responsibility to maintain that lane in terms of washout, gravel, etc. That's their responsibility because we don't use it. I also spoke with Corey at the bus garage, made sure he was okay with it. We talked through it. He said, absolutely no problem. As long as we don't have to take care of the road, it impacts us none. So what we're going to be asking during the action items here in just a bit is that we would approve the chair and Joel to finalize that deed of easement to allow them access through that area. And as you can tell, there's already other owners that are using it. Questions for me?
They don't have a right of way to another right of way to their property?
That's the only way.
Really?
Yeah.
And I assume for all the others.
It is. Yep. Those are the other owners. So in the deed of easement, there's 4 of us listed. The school is one of them.
And that's a new build, or is that already?
It's already there. It was a transfer of ownership, I believe, is what happened through the family.
Didn't realize they didn't. Or right up there.
But hopefully that image shows you what we're talking about. It runs parallel to that fence all the way back.
Keep the weeds down on the side of the fence.
Yeah. So just wanted to present that so you could see it rather than read you the whole thing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Superintendent's update?
Absolutely. Before I get started, I do want to recognize our school board or student school board representatives that are here this evening. Bridget, we didn't scare you off. So Bridget Dudley is back again. So we're excited to have you. Thank you for being here. And then Joey Miller, our new representative. Joey, welcome. I encourage both of you to be active, ask questions, feel free to speak up. And we love having you here, and your voice is the voice that matters. So thank you very much. So round of applause for our new member. All right, superintendent's update. So as we started the meeting, and I would be remiss to not acknowledge it again, throughout the division, across, the Commonwealth and across the nation, we all honored Patriot Day today and 9/11, and I just want to bring attention to that. And I think Ms. Gordon's remarks before the moment of silence were very important because we talked about, our responsibility to teach our students what it means to serve, what it means to give, to be kind, to not hate. And, the flags around the table are here for a reason because of this day, donated by LES, and I appreciate that for them doing that. But without saying much more, I know everyone's heart is heavy. Certainly mine is. But, just as we lay our heads down tonight to go to sleep, I hope we remember why we're able to do that in peace. So Row the Boat Awards. My hand is cramping up, but we are rolling. So that number's higher even from when I put that in there around lunch this morning or this afternoon. Up to 239 recognitions. You can see some of our staff have started a trend of taking pictures with their certificates, and we're posting them to social media and doing different things there. It's been really exciting for us to, and I, as I said last time, I read every single one of them, and it's people that would never get recognized for doing things that mean so much, right? And have been doing those things probably for a long time. And it's been a pleasure of mine to read those sentiments. And it's not just from colleagues, it's also from students and from parents that are writing about their child's teachers. And it's been a really positive start for us. And we're going to continue to move forward with that. And we send them out every day. So I sent an email out right before the meeting. We had so many. Ms. Heichman had to help me break them down into sets of 50 because I was like, if we put 230, no one's going to read them. So we had to break them down. That's why you're seeing them come out kind of sporadically. That's why that's happening. So it's a great start. Just an enrollment update. I provided this last meeting. This is where we stand in FY26. Again, we always play this conservative. Blake and I reviewed these numbers together, and that's where we stand as it compares to last year. So we're just under 10 students from what we budgeted. I'm not overly concerned. If I was, I would have already let you know. But I just wanted to be transparent and show you where we're at. This is not atypical, and we'll start to level out towards the end of the month as we go into October. And what kind of happens if you compare that slide to what I presented last time? It's obviously lower. That's where you have your homeschool, private school, kids moved away, different things. That's when this time of year when all of that stuff occurs. So I just wanted to share that with you all. We are continuing on with Care Solace as we had last year. And I just want to remind everybody that this is a great resource for mental health. It is a free service to all of our staff, students, and their families. We've listed contact information on this slide. If folks are not able to access this, they're certainly welcome to contact their school or certainly contact here, and we're happy to help them make those connections. Just some stats to show you use at this time. You know, just since the beginning of school, there's already been 124 communications, 11 searches, 1 appointment, time saved at 3.8 hours. And those are the topics and needs that are being addressed, which we know are needs. That's not a surprise, right? Anxiety, depression, trauma, alcohol use, ADHD, the things that we know our kids and our families are battling with. And so I just wanted to remind everybody in our community and remind our board that we still have that resource, and it's a great resource to use. And we're happy to help connect anybody that we can who needs it. We're really excited that we're expanding our teen mental health first aid. Want to definitely thank Shannon Urim, did I say that correct, please? For helping us take the next step with our teen mental health first aid. We have 4 staff members from across the division that are going to be trained to be teen facilitators. So this isn't our first year. We obviously have participated in the past. I believe we had 21 staff last year who were trained, and we did not have anybody in the capacity to be a facilitator for our students. So this is kind of the next phase or next level with our work there. And Casey has been instrumental, as well as others around the table, in helping us get to this point. So we have select staff. I believe we have 2 from Page High, 1 from Luray High, and Casey, who will be trained. Sorry, Ms. Heichman will be trained to be facilitators for our students, which is really exciting. And they will train a selected grade level in both high schools on the teen course, which is a great step for us as a division, and really proud and excited that our community and our schools get to take advantage of that opportunity. So thanks to everybody who's contributed to that. September is Attendance Awareness Month. So attendance matters. We know that's been a focus for us. Regular attendance we know is important. It helps students stay engaged, keep up with their work. The more days you miss, the further you get behind, and the harder it is to come back. We all know that. You start digging that hole, it's hard to get out of. And so we've focused a lot on attendance in our schools, different activities going on, which I'll share here in just a minute. But it's definitely been a focus for us, and not just in September, but every month of the year. So here's an example of a great activity for Attendance Awareness Month. This is at Luray Elementary. They are celebrating. Ms. Heichman took these pictures for me. Attendance Hero Spirit Week. And hero means you're here every day, ready and on time. They've done different events throughout the week, and Wednesday happened to be Wild Hair Day. So the kids took advantage of that to be silly, and that's been really exciting. So great job, Luray, and our schools. This is a slide I added just as part of my update about getting better every day. And that's a focus for us as a team. Hopefully that's evident in the presentations that you see and the things that you hear about what we're doing. This doesn't encompass it all, but it's just a few different things. As Ms. Hamill mentioned, our Professional Development Day coming up, the MANT training, which is around, as she mentioned, de-escalation techniques in crisis and how we handle that. Naviance for our counselors, custodial training, Newsella, BrainPop, Cami, Edpuzzle, all of those tech tools she mentioned, and there's more that's not on this list, are phenomenal. Oh, can you get back to grants? I remember presenting about these SIG grants. I remember certain board members said, how are you going to spend $125,000 between now and September? And I'm proud to say that we're pretty close. Because I didn't have a great answer at that time. Mr. Hopkins has done a phenomenal job with these grants, and you saw a little bit about that last meeting. He was able to take those grants and spend down all but around 12%, which is incredible. Kudos, Chris. Thank you for your leadership on that. And just wanted to give you an update that's a lot of things that happen in a short amount of time, not just to spend down grants, but to support our staff, student engagement, and planning for the upcoming year. Speaking of getting better every day, it's important that we support our leaders. So our Virginia Principal Support Program is a great program we're a part of. It's free to us. We happen to have an insider. Dr. Alderfer is one of the main leaders of the program at JMU. And we have participants, Ms. Cherry, Ms. Meadows, both new building principals this year, Ms. Clark as an advisor and coach, and we'll have one additional outside coach as well. It's a year-long program. Again, as I said, Dr. Alderfer is a lead. I believe he's one of the lead presenters at their first conference. So that's a great tool for us to make sure we're giving our folks a strong foundation, and I'm proud of that. As many of you attended, I know, we had great assemblies, organized by Mr. Hopkins, using some of our grant funding for some phenomenal assemblies for our students. There's a couple pictures there for you of Eddie Cortez. From everything I've heard in the community and around is that these were great experiences for our kids. And just wanted to make that a highlight that's a really neat experience for our kids and our families to get exposed to a high-level speaker with a great message about how do you face self-doubt, how do you face fear of failure, and how do you face like you feel like you don't belong, and giving them some tools and some ideas about how to take care of that. So that was a great time last week. Just a 100-day plan update for the group as I've continued to do, as I promised. Faculty meetings, visits are scheduled where I'll be visiting each school between now and November to attend faculty meetings. We're going to talk about our strategic plan, make sure that our staff is aware of where we're at and where we're headed, to get an update and to listen. I'm really excited about our stop, start, continue meetings. I think we wrapped up scheduling all of those today at all 9 locations. And the way these work, I do an AM session for half a day and then a PM session later on, because teachers may not have planning in the morning. They may have it in the afternoon, or a bus driver or, custodian might not be there. So I've staggered them throughout. If you come in the morning, you get donuts, coffee, and water. If you come in the afternoon, cookies and sodas and chocolate. So if I have a bigger suit coat on when I come back from these, you'll know why. But that's going to be a great time. Folks can come in at their leisure. They don't have to schedule it. I'll be in a conference room or an area, and they can drop in and we'll just talk. They can come in one-on-one, small groups. I don't need 20 people at once, but small groups or one-on-one is great. And there's a lot of good to be had out of those conversations. So that's going on, and that was part of my 100-day plan, as you remember. And it's posted online. I'm finalizing surveys for our families and staff just to check in. We're coming up on progress reports here towards the end of September. And I want to make sure I'm getting feedback, not just on the superintendency, which is important to me, certainly, but just what is their experience so far and how can we help them, both as students and families, but also staff. And then regional networking has been really beneficial, interacting with the groups you see there. Most recently, Ms. Miller, myself, and Ms. Gordon attended the Shenandoah Valley Regional Program meeting, which was very eye-opening and very beneficial for me as a superintendent. I believe Tenny would say the same thing. And so we got to network there, but then also learn more about funding streams and what that looks like and how we can better support our students with disabilities. And then, as we've talked about visibility, if you haven't heard, we're pretty visible. So those are just the documented visits that we have in our spreadsheet, 86 at this time. Way more than that, I can tell you that. But nothing makes me happier than, 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, get on the group text with everybody in this room and, hey, I'm going to this school tomorrow morning. I'm headed here. Or I'm going to go here. Then I'm going here. It's good stuff. And our folks in this room are committed to getting out there and providing support for our schools. So that's just an update on the 100-day plan. And then just my last quote kind of brings it all full circle. Sandy Dahl is the wife of one of the pilots that went down in the plane crash in Pennsylvania. And this is one of her quotes she shared after 9/11. And I thought it was a kind of a good way to end my presentation, and a good way to just kind of chart the path forward on where our energy and hearts need to be on a day like this. Thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you. What is buzzing?
What's the buzz?
What is buzzing in the church?
That's what it has to be in one.
It has to be somebody's alarm.
really fallen.
No worries.
Thank you.
We
No
just wanted-
problem. We just wanted to make sure we knew what
Probably
it
just
was.
asked a couple minutes ago.
All right, Ms. Miller, approval of claims for payment.
Yes, good evening again, school board members. You have been provided with the claim certification where total operating fund expenditures are $409,928.72, and Fund 5's food service, $48,423.31, for a total expenditures of $458,352.03. And with this, you have also been provided with a list of claims and check registers. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Make a motion, we approve the claims for payment as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Overfelt, a second by Ms. Bryant to approve the claims for payment as presented. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Ms. Miller, resolution 2026.
See you smiling.
Yes, thank you, school board members. It is my pleasure to read to you today. I am bringing to you resolution number 2026-02 to the Page County Board of Supervisors requesting adjustments to the 25-26 school budget for the reappropriation of funds for employee retention bonuses, the transfer of funds to food service, which is also to pay those bonuses out of Fund 5, and the reappropriation of funds to Fund 2, the CIP fund. So I would like to read this into record. Whereas Governor Glenn Youngkin approved funding for a one-time bonus of $1,000 for standards of quality funded instructional and support positions to promote staff retention, and whereas the Page County Public Schools received state funding in the amount of $306,286 in fiscal year 2025, designated specifically for employee bonuses, and whereas the Page County School Board voted to utilize these funds as retention bonuses for all returning employees in fiscal year 2026, and whereas the reappropriation of these funds into fiscal year 2026 is necessary to carry out the distribution of employee retention bonuses, and whereas Page County Public Schools respectfully request that the Page County Board of Supervisors reappropriate $306,286 in state funds to the operating fund for compensation supplements, and whereas approximately $17,700 of these compensation supplements will be allocated to food service employees, requiring the transfer of $17,700 from the operating fund to Fund 5 food service. And whereas at its meeting on July 21st, 2025, the Page County Board of Supervisors approved the appropriation of $235,000 to the CIP Fund 2 for the purchase of an additional school bus and for repairs to the mezzanine at Luray High School. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that the Page County Board of Supervisors, number one, appropriate the $306,286 in state funds originally received in fiscal year 2025 to the operating fund for the purpose of employee retention bonuses in fiscal year 2026, with no change to local appropriations for this amount. And number two, reappropriate the $235,000 to CIP Fund 2 as previously agreed for the purchase of a school bus and facility repairs, which would increase local appropriation by this amount. And then number three, to authorize the transfer of $17,700 from the operating fund to Fund 5 food service.
Make a motion that we approve the resolution as read.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Overfelt, a second by Ms. Alger to approve the resolution as read. Any questions?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Clark, VSBA policy updates.
Yes, ma'am. I'm back in front of you tonight for an action item. We presented 8 policies under review from the last meeting with minor word changes, and we're just asking for action tonight.
We'll make a motion, we approve the VSBA policy update.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Alger, a second by Ms. Bryant to approve the VSBA policy updates.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Approval of the deed of easement.
I move to approve the easement as presented and further move to authorize the chair to endorse the easement in a form substantially similar to the form presented and subject to the final approval of the board's legal counsel.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sullivan Smoot and a second by Mr. Painter to approve the deed of easement for Butler Lane.
Yes.
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 Yes. Board member comments?
We can hear more students.
Oh, yeah, we do. We will on this.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I think we had to start off with,
Okay. Well, we will start off going in reverse. Board member
Yeah.
comments, welcome.
what do you think?
Mr. Miller?
I don't really have much to say. I mean,
A lot.
yeah.
A lot.
I never really sat through one of these fully. I do want to say that I think that the Magic School AI is something that's really going to be helpful for the students. I think that AI is really something that the course for good. Maybe not with unrestricted access to students, because y'all know how that would go. It's very massive for me. But I think that when it's used in the classroom, I think it's going to be something that's really going to be helpful. And I really do think that it's going to help teachers. It's going to make their lives a lot easier.
Thanks for good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have to agree with him. But overall, I'm just glad to be back, glad to be back in the school meetings and school basis.
Thank you. We're happy that you all are joining us.
Well, I'm going to start and just say, what a great start for this school year. Everything we've heard and all the work that everyone here put in to getting all this together is truly amazing. And so I want to say thank you to all involved. Job well done. Second, I would just like to do a shout out to all the leaders in the 4-H program in Page County. What we saw tonight was wonderful. And when you think about all the time and effort that these leaders put in to working with our young people and how they benefit, not just from the fair or contest, but the learning and exposure to all sorts of agriculture, well, you name it. We are lucky to have them with us. And so thanks to them. And also, I got to attend the Eddie Cortez presentation last week at Shenandoah Elementary. And I want to tell you, this gentleman did a fantastic job. I didn't see anyone not tuned in to what he was sharing. And I'll just share this one example. But he talked about a basketball player that had to have his arm amputated and was told he'd never play basketball. And in his presentation, he said, you never know what you can do if you don't try. And if you never try, it's not going to happen. So he randomly chose different ones, and they went up on the stage, and he told them, he said, untie one of your shoes. And they did. He said, now, the basketball player only had one hand and arm. I want to see what you all can do. Tie your shoe with one arm and one arm behind your back. This one student was doing it, so she separated the strings. She laid one over here and one over, and then she got it to go underneath, and she couldn't pull both. She put one string in her mouth and the other with her hand, and she made the first step in tying her shoe. That example itself spoke out to everyone in there. There's a will. If there's a will, there's a way. I'm so glad, Mr. Hopkins, I know you helped get that guy here, and thank you so much. And if we can do things like that all year, kids need to see that. and it helps them understand. But I wish he had them do a cheer. Eddie, that whole roof was blowing off. They were just in tune to everything. So again, a great opportunity for them. And our community with our 4-H people and, other things, we're lucky. And so I just hope we can keep everything going the way it is.
Good comments. I really enjoyed the excellent recognition of our students tonight and their achievements. That's what it's all about. It's about the kids. That's why we're here. So I mean, that really brings it home for us. Really glad to see the hard work that we're doing in the professional development of our teachers and staff. I think that's so valuable to take us to the next level. And that just continues to raise the bar. And I think what it also does is it really supports retention of our teachers, because they see that we're making an investment in them as individuals and their quality, and they're going to get better with every step. I want to keep the flags. I think we ought to keep them. I think they ought to be here every week. I think it's a great idea, and we really appreciate. You said LES brought them?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you to LES. Welcome to our students. Glad to have you on board. And see, you did have a comment. You didn't know you did, but you gave a valuable input on the Magic program. I think the school visits that you've got planned and that are going on are really valuable. I think that goes back to the point of retention, because the folks see that the division staff is down there, you care, you're listening, you're bringing back issues that maybe we can take care of and improve their day-to-day lives. And that's really valuable, extremely valuable. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to my fellow board members and just say thank you for your cooperation. And we work together pretty well. I'm really happy that we do. I see other boards, other places, and man, they're ugly. And we don't always agree on everything, but there's no knife fights going on in the hallway. So thank you, you guys. That's all.
My turn. Yeah, I agree. Just the recognition of the students for anything that they're doing, outside of just going to school. Because that's already a full-time job, So when they can perform and excel in other areas, it's amazing. And especially in agriculture. It is such an important thing for our community, and it's very important in our country. And we are seeing it go away very, very quickly, which is a very scary thing. So it was very inspiring to me, not just to see that we had kids in our community that are really doing this, but so many kids that are doing this and excelling at it. Because it's not just, agriculture, it's early mornings, it's late evenings, it's having to deal with crisis, when things go wrong. And the canning, that's such a lost art. So seeing our kids do that, that was awesome. So kudos to them. And welcome to our student reps. Thank you all so much. I really encourage you all to speak and share and be honest. These rooms are intimidating, but your voices are the ones that matter. And so as you hear things that can be better, that can be changed to get more students engaged, please, and thank you, because you all represent the entire student body, and that's a big task, but a noble one, so thank you very much. I thank you, Dr. Huber, for pointing out Care Solace and bringing attention to that again. It is such an amazing resource and a very needed and necessary resource, especially in these times. So, we definitely need all the support that we can get, and just putting it out there to the community, that 988 number, 988, 24/7 hotline. Anybody needs it, text, call. So hopefully our students, and we can really push that out to our students. And I think a big focus, I just want us to remember the way that we treat each other and the way we talk to each other and respond. Like, our kids see that, and they learn that is the way to treat and respond and interact with one another. And when we are being cruel and unkind and aggressive, that's what we're teaching our children. No matter if we're at home, at school, on the street, on social media, they see it all, especially now. We've got like 5-year-olds on our phones. But yeah, so just remember that, because it ripples. So
they've just like taken care of everything already. I mean,
Let's start with you.
good luck, Dwayne, when it gets to you, Mr. Painter. Thank you all for acknowledging the students once again. Hard work, all of it is a really big deal, and I love that they know how to. I mean, it's manual labor and it's impressive, and they're tasked with keeping something alive, which is a really big deal. And then the canning, what a lost art. I mean, that's impressive. We need to bring that back. That's good stuff. Bridget and Jody, thank you so much for being here with us. And, I just can't say enough exactly what Taylor has said. Please speak. Let us know. I hope that the other students are coming to you all and, asking questions, or if you want to bring something in that someone else has, asked, we welcome that. You represent that student body. Thank you all for being in the schools. Thank you. Thank you. Make all of the division staff feel so supported, because they are in the thick of it every single day. It's a lot, and seeing your faces and showing up for support, that goes really far. They need to know that you all are there. So that's a big deal. Winding down, what else can I say? I do love these flags. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the table tonight. And we definitely don't want to let that go unacknowledged. So I greatly appreciate that. And the patriotism, and I know that they had some red, white, and blue, and that's what they're going to do Friday night at the football game. So I'm really excited about all of that. And thank you all very much.
So I thought the IT presentation was very passionate. Blake and the team did a good job. I'm charged up about some of the stuff I learned and some of the way we can engage students in different ways, different way to fill that lemon or onion, however, we get it done. 100-day plan, thanks for the update on that. I like someone who makes a plan and keeps with it. It's hard to do. Things come at you, but we're diligent with it. And I haven't been in any of the schools during school yet, but I'm hoping to. Maybe Mr. Overfelt and I can maybe do some visits here. I wanted to let you guys settle in a little bit, figure some things out.
I don't know. I think we're just go behind it.
First day of school.
Yeah.
They just get the chocolate afternoon.
Yeah, I want to hit one of those. The students showing up to the meetings, Nikki, I'm sure that's like herding cats maybe, but had a great crowd here today. Wonderful, and kids taking pride in it. That's awesome. Very good. A lot of responsibility to take on. For student representatives, thanks for being here. And I want to encourage you that you advocate for all students. There's a human dignity that we have here in Page County. And there's times that we lose that, sometimes maybe, and regaining it. It's a Bob Dylan song. It's a great song, Dignity. And we need more of it. And I echo Mr. Overfeld's comments about our board. We work together with everybody on the staff here as well. And we need to be advocates for these children coming from different places and have a place, have a people. That's important. But I want to thank everybody for that.
My favorite part, because I don't really have to say anything since they say it all. But no, seriously though, thank you to everybody. You're doing amazing work all the time. Thank you to our school board reps. Bridget came back, so that's not be so bad. But please definitely speak up, speak to the students in your school. And if we say something you don't understand, ask questions. We want you to engage and talk. I do want us to remember, I think everybody hit everything, but the way we all felt after 9/11 and then the way we came together as a country, I think we need to remember that. Yeah. We really need to focus on unity and resilience. And we're all leaders in the room in some capacity. And I think that's the way we need to lead. We need to lead with that focus, kind of ignore the outside noise, and really, why not Page County? We can be different. We don't have to follow any other narrative. but we need to remember that unity and that resilience that we felt after that day.
Well said.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I second. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.